When my wife Laura and I first landed in Beijing in China, the capital city, we were picked up by my uncle Xiao Jojo, who is also known as Uncle Feifei. So Xiao Jojo took us to his house in a very nice car that he had purchased because he worked for a fancy company, an American company that worked in China. And when he first pulled up to his house, it was like this amazing mansion, right? And we opened up the door and there's this marble floor and this staircase. And I was like, whoa! I was like, Xiao Jojo, this is amazing. I went walk in and he was, Miko, stop! And I was like, what? He said, would you lick the street outside? And I said, no, I definitely wouldn't lick the street outside. He said, when you wear your shoes into the house, it's like you are licking the street. You must always take your shoes off. I was like, oh, sorry, Xiao Jojo, I always take my shoes off at home. I apologize. And I took them off and I walked in. And as we walked through his house, he said, Miko and Laura, this is not real China, okay? This is rich China. This is for the foreigners where they live there. This is not real China. When you go to where your great-grandfather's school was and you work there you will see real China. And then he said, I'm sorry that I was so loud with you about taking your shoes off, but I just want to make sure you know there's certain things in China you must do in order to be a polite guest. I said, okay. Excuse me. So we stayed at his house for a little while, and it was wonderful. And then after a few days, he needed to go on a trip. So he was driving us over to another uncle's house. Now, anybody who's a generation above you but related to you is called an uncle or an auntie. Anybody who's in your generation is called a cousin, even if they're a very, very distant relative. So he was taking me to my Uncle Xiao Qing's house. Uncle Xiao Qing is actually my mom's cousin. So he's called uncle, even though he's like first cousin once removed or something like that. Anyways, as we were driving over there, my Xiao Jojo, Uncle Feifei, says, okay, so when we get there, it's very important that you are a good guest, okay? I said, yes. He said, so when we get there, they're going to feed you really good food, and then when it's time to go to sleep, they're going to try to tell you to sleep in their bed, okay? And we're like, what do you mean? He said, well, Chinese people will always give you the best of everything. And so they will believe that their bedroom is the best bed, and they will tell you to sleep in their bed. Under no circumstances are you to sleep in their bed. They need to sleep in their own bed. You should use another different guest's bedroom, okay? And I was like, don't worry about it, Xiao Jojo. I got this. I won't sleep in their bed. So we arrived, and sure enough, Uncle Xiao Qing, this very debonair, sort of suave, elderly Asian man, and his wife, so nice. She cooked an incredible 5-course meal for us, and they bought us all these special drinks. It was just so delicious. And after the meal, we were sitting down in the living room watching soccer and talking, and I was speaking in Chinese, but my Chinese wasn't that good, so I kind of understood what was happening. But we were standing there talking, and then after a few hours, my Xiao Jojo needs to leave. And so we say goodbye to him, and as I'm walking him to the elevator, the elevator door is closing, and he turns to me and he goes, Miko, remember, under no circumstances are you to sleep in their bed. You must make sure that they sleep in their bed. I was like, I got this, Xiao Jojo, don't worry. So as soon as he left, we walked back into the apartment, and Uncle Xiao Qing comes up to me and he says, okay, Miko, let me show you where you're going to sleep. I said, okay, great. So he comes and he walks into his bedroom and he says, okay, this is the best bed in the house. You're going to sleep in this bed. And I go, oh, Uncle Xiao Qing, whose bed is that? And he says, it's my bed. It's the best bed. And I said, oh, I cannot sleep in your bed, Uncle Xiao Qing. You should sleep in your bed. We're young. We can sleep anywhere. It'll be okay. And I say, well, show us another bed. And he goes and he grabs our bags in the living room and he picks up our bags and he takes them into his bedroom and he puts them in the bedroom. He says, you're going to sleep in this bed. This is the best bed in the house. I said, no, Uncle Xiao Qing, I'm not going to sleep there. And I grab our bags and we walk back and I put them back in the living room and I say, choose another bed. We're young. We can sleep in it. He said, you're going to sleep in this bed. And he grabs it and he takes it and puts it back in the bedroom. I'm like, no. And then he comes over and he grabs me and he starts pulling me along the floor. And I'm in my socks, right? Because remember, I've learned to take my shoes off. And he pulls me over and he says, you're going to sleep in this bed. It is the best bed. And I look at him and I go, okay, Uncle Xiao Qing, we'll sleep in your bed. And as we walk back to the living room, I'm thinking to myself, oh no, my Xiao Jojo is going to kill me. He said one thing. He said, just make sure you don't sleep in Uncle Xiao Qing's bed. That's the only thing he said to me. So we're sitting on the couch and we're watching TV and we're chatting a little bit. And as we're sitting there, I notice over on the other side of the living room, there's a couch over there as well. And it looks like it folds out into a bed. So I stand up and I go and I sit on that other couch and I go, "Oh, Uncle Xiao, this is a really nice couch. It's so soft." I said, "Does it also fold into a bed?" And Uncle Xiao says, "Oh, yes, it folds into a bed. Very easy. Oh, we got a good deal on it too." And I go, "Uncle Xiao, I think Laura and I would rather sleep on this couch." And he says, "No, you will sleep on the best bed. That is my bed." I said, "No, Uncle Xiao, you don't understand. We're Americans. We're very soft people. And this couch is much softer. Your bed, I know it's wonderful. I'm sure it's great for you, but your bed is hard because Chinese people like hard beds. Americans like soft beds, and this couch is much softer. Please, can we sleep on this couch instead?" And Uncle Xiao thinks about it and he says, "Okay. But in the morning, I will check to make sure it's good sleep." And I said, "Oh, thank you, Uncle Xiao, thank you." And I get up immediately and I go to the bedroom and I grab our bags and I bring them down and put them down. And I turn, "Oh, Uncle Xiao, we're really sleepy. I think we want to go to sleep now because I want to, get in that bed and sleep there before, he changes his mind." And he says, "Oh, okay. And then Laura and I get all ready and we sleep in the bed and it's great. Now, in the morning, when I wake up, I go out, I open the door, and Uncle Xiao is standing there. He says, "How did you sleep?" I said, "Oh, Uncle Xiao, that was such an amazing bed. Thank you so much." He says, "Okay, you can sleep there again tonight." And I tell you this story because I want you to know that being a guest in China, they will always give you the best of everything, okay? And even if you don't want it, they will give you the best because they believe, since they live there, they know what will be best for you. And this is an aspect of Chinese culture that's really important. So when I was growing up, whenever we went to go out to eat, all of my uncles and my mom, they would fight over who would get to pay the bill because they wanted to treat everybody else. And there's rules about who should eventually be able to pay the bill. Usually it has to do with who's actually the host, like whose hometown it is, or who's the oldest oftentimes. They're the person who should get to pay. But there's always this fight over who gets to pay for everybody else. It's an amazing culture, and I look forward to telling you more about it in more stories. Thanks.